Oh no, it looks like something's in the way.
One of the added benefits of waking up early for my job is being able to secure an order for things like this. And more reasons to spend money. But here is Jada Toys, or Jada Next Level, as they're kind of going by with this amped up line of movie vehicle replicas. This is the 1/18th scale of the Batmobile from the 2022 Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves, The Batman film. And we'll get to the actual Batmobile as well as the figurine that it's included inside and all of its nice little doodads and features here. But for those of you who needed some context, Jada Toys, they kind of specialize in making vehicles and small scale replicas of vehicles and different kinds of forms of transportation, especially very iconic ones from movie history, whether it be for like Back to the Future or various other ones. And of course, they're going to be making their own line of Batmobiles. Most of the time, they do them in the 124 scale or 132 scale on the smaller side that you can easily find in stores like Walmart, Target, etc. However, they have a specific line called Jada Next Level where they throw in some of these beefier 1/18 scale versions that are only available on their website. Well, for the most part. Ever so often, you might find it on a third-party site like Entertainment Earth, and if you guys want to see that, you have the link in the description if you guys want to use the affiliate link. Or if you're like me in the Southern California area, you have some trade shows such as Frankensons, where you can walk in and see a couple of them that have been acquired and resold in that particular market. I didn't go by that way. I simply just found out that Jada Toys had a specific pre-order early in the morning a couple of weeks ago, and so I found myself in the position of acquiring my own. And without further deliberation, let's check out Jada Toys 1/18 scale, the Batmobile. And now here we have the 1/18 scale Batmobile from Jada Toys, right out of the box. Now, full disclaimer, there is a process. Jada Toys is going to make you work for this damn thing, especially it being metal, because the entire thing, not only the car itself, but also the 3 3/4 inch Batman figurine, are completely bolted to the base that's inside of the box itself. And frankly, I would have considered keeping it on the base itself with the screws and everything intact, but the base, even though it's durable and very top quality, I don't like that at the base it literally says "Try me." Maybe if it had like an official plate that said the Batmobile 2022 or the Batman Batmobile 22 or something like that, something to actually legitimize the look of the base, then maybe I probably would have thrown it in there and included it. But it didn't really look. It looked kind of tacky with the whole "Try me" thing in different languages. So I was like, let's go ahead and remove it. That way we can fully focus on the Batmobile itself. But before we get to that, let's talk about that little Batman figurine that they decided to throw in. Jada Toys generally likes to throw in little figurines with some of their vehicles. Not every single one, but especially when a very staple character is included, they do throw in little figurines, and they are generally to scale with the vehicle. So say, for example, if they ever do the 132 scale or the 124, then the figurine is going to be scaled appropriately. And here we have a 3/4 inch to go with the 1/18th of the Robert Pattinson Batman. And to put it nicely, there's so much that they can do at this size scale. I mean, we can obviously tell where the main focus of this whole entire ensemble was really at. But it's still interesting to see them throw in this figure with the accurate Batman costume from the 2022 movie. There are a couple of little mishaps here and there. I do notice that the shading of the gray that they use for the overall costume is a little too light for the actual version of the Batman that we see in the movie, but at least they got most of the accuracy as far as the armor and the padding and all the little details that make up this version of the Pattinson Batman. Now, taking him out of the box, I was under the impression that maybe he was going to be articulated somewhat with either the limbs or the head. Unfortunately, that's not the case, and the reason why is because I saw some segmentation going on right here on the shoulders, but the reason why that is because The shoulders, or rather the arms in their entirety, along with the head and the cape, are made out of this flexible rubber. And the reason why I found that to be a little perplexing is because aside from those pieces, the rest of the body, meaning the torso and the legs, are completely made out of die-cast metal. This is one solid metal piece here in the middle, and therefore it gives them a little bit of added heft, a little bit of added weight. So that's pretty cool that they went the extra mile of making this die-cast. I would probably assume that for safety reasons, the rest was made out of rubber. And I understand with the cape completely, especially to give it this kind of rubberized matte finish that's pretty screen accurate, if I do say so myself. But the rest, especially the arms, I feel like the arms could have been die cast as well. But that's essentially what they went with. And like I said, at this size scale, there's only so much that they can do with paint applications and detail. But even then, I still have to dock them some points for some slight little mishaps on the paint applications on the body itself, especially made out of die-cast. Maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe it eroded the paint away. But you can notice right here on the utility belt, a little bit of the black is chipping off the little pockets that are on his right side. And then moving on up on the bat symbol, which I think is a little bit more detrimental. For the most part, it's painted out black, but you'll notice there's a couple of little splotches there in the middle. Just a tiny bit. So that could have been easily avoided, just as well as maybe decreasing the size of the font for like the legal stuff here on the cape. I understand that somehow, some way they have to put that kind of lettering on a figurine, but I've seen it done better, and to have it be so abrasive here on the cape, it's a little bit distracting. Moving on to the head, like I said, it's rubberized and it's not really articulated, unfortunately, but at least they got the accuracy of the cowl itself. They did give him the white eyes, which I know that's pretty subjective of a lot of people. A lot of people actually would like to see the white eyes be interpreted in live action. I personally don't like it too much. I've always attributed it to being an animated series sort of thing. And personally, I feel like Pattinson's Batman is the one where the white eyes don't really fit all too well. Maybe for other versions like Bale, but here, because of the sizing, they opted for the white eyes and didn't really give him anything as far as pupil dilation or anything like that, which kind of makes sense because, like I said, if they had tried to do something at this scale, it probably would have looked weird. And because of that sizing, the jaw line also doesn't really resemble Pattinson's all that well. Kind of looks more like Adam West than anything wearing the Pattinson outfit. But other than that, again, the sizing, there's only so much that they can really do. So I'm not gonna flack them too badly, because the main focus that Jada Toys was pretty much emphasizing all the way across is, of course, the vehicle itself, which is going to be the 1/18th Batmobile right here, completely made out of die-cast for the most part. There's a couple of pieces on the interior that are made out of a durable plastic, but the actual chassis of the body is pretty much made out of this matte finish black die-cast metal, and you definitely feel the heft all the way around with the body itself, and it's beautifully replicated here at the 1/18th scale to mimic that of the muscle car that you see in the movie. And for the most part, I would not be surprised if they did in fact scan in the actual vehicle. Like Jada Toys got access to like the scans from visual effects department or somebody over at Warner Brothers to actually replicate this in its entirety to make it seem as accurate as humanly possible, with all the little details that make up the muscle car. From the grille here at the front with these kind of little metal bars, these gray metal bars, as well as of course all the modifications on the hood, the wheels, the doors, the windows, as well as, of course, the main coup de grace, which is going to be pretty much this entire back portion right here with the turbine engine, as well as the fire spitter back here. You can see all the details of that intricate wiring going along right there. And like I said, even though the majority of the chassis is die-cast, the rest is going to be a durable metal with a couple of little rubber pieces just for safety to make sure that you don't risk breaking or damaging anything too extensively, especially right here, the little nozzle where the fire comes out is actually made out of a rubber piece, as well as some of the little sprockets and mufflers going on here at the top, as well as the inside right here. It really does look legit back here, especially with the tail lights, and of course, like I said, the sculpting going along this area right here, that definitely gives this particular Batmobile its identity. The wheels are also made out of a very durable rubber. I like that they went with accuracy by making this a rear wheel drive, and having the rear wheels be a lot thicker and much more durable and hefty than that of the rest of the set. Now, while we have it here on the underside, I would probably say that we'll take a look at exactly what makes the under part of the vehicle as well, because this is where you get your access to the batteries. And the reason why this thing comes sported with batteries, as well as the compartment to be able to swap out the 3-disc batteries inside, is because you also have a switch here towards the front marked in red with 3 different settings. Right here by default we have it on off. However, there's 2 other phases. You can either do Try Me, which is right out of the box by default because of the Try Me feature, but then you also have on. And of course, when you flip it to on, you then activate all of the light up features for the vehicle itself. And as you can see, it's definitely, it's funny because even though it doesn't come with any legitimate sound effects, in your mind, you can, if you've seen the movie, you know that when this thing lights up, that screeching, horrifying sound that the engine lets out when it's ready to start ramping up, and Penguin kind of turns around and goes, oh shit, he's got that look on his face, like, you know it's about to go down. And that's pretty much how this thing looks like when you switch the lights on. You have an orange light coming out of the hood of the car right here, as well as, of course, the headlights lighting up with a very powerful glow, a very cool iridescent glow going on right there at the front that's actually lighting up the camera rather well. So it's very illuminating. You know, there's definitely some power behind the headlights that you see here at the front, as well as a little bit of orange coming across right there on the grill. And then when we rotate it towards the back, of course, that engine, as well as the Spitfire, is gonna be coming out in beautiful orange form. Now, I do know that that's technically not screen accurate because in the movie it lights up blue, but I'll gladly take a very cool looking fire red right there going along with the taillights lighting up in red, as well as this one here at the front. And I can only imagine if I were to switch these lights off, how awesome this will look like in the dark. So they did a spectacular job of making sure that everything looks as accurate as possible. And then going down here towards the sides, there's only one red light illuminating this area here where he's got his little stepping pipe right there to be able to climb into the car. And speaking of climbing into the car, you are able to open up the doors on both ends. There's a part of me that kind of wishes that there was actual glass for the window here, but I don't remember exactly if there was any windows on the Batmobile on the passenger or driver side, so I could be mistaken on that. However, you do have a very durable windshield glass, as well as additional glass pieces here towards the back and on the other side over right here. But to me, what stands out the most is that they did in fact give you a fully decked out interior with steering wheel, dashboard, and the one driver's seat that has a little bit of reclining movement going on right there. If you touch the seat, you can actually feel a little bit of the seat being able to recline back and forwards via shock absorption. Now, you'll notice there's also not a passenger seat, and I feel like that kind of speaks to the character of where he's at right now in terms of his phase as Batman, because year 2 doesn't need help, or doesn't believe to need help, and therefore that's coming across very well in the building of his Batmobile. But other than that, you also have the handbrake, as well as different little gizmos and details going along here in the middle part of the vehicle. Now, one other little feature that personally I'm a little indifferent to, because I don't really see the functionality of this. I don't remember if he used this in the movie. I've only seen the movie once. I wish I could have seen it a second time, but COVID has gotten a little bit worse, and I've been really busy with work, so I haven't been having to block 3 hours of my time to be able to get that done. But somebody in the comments section, please let me know, did he ever use a feature like this? If you press towards the nose of the hood here, you can actually lift this piece right here, and it comes up and kind of pops a little bit into place so you can keep it in this position. And it's interesting to have this feature be included. I just don't remember if he used this in the movie. I would imagine that this is like a additional brake to give him a little bit of aerodynamicy, or be able to brake and, you know, kind of build some wind resistance of some sort, or maybe to kind of ram through obstacles a little easier, not only with the grill here at the front, but also allow it to block any kind of damage falling onto the windshield, or vice versa. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting that they threw this in. Maybe this is like an added feature from some concept work that Warner Brothers and DC or Matt Reeves was able to send over to Jada Toys to then incorporated into the vehicle itself in 1/18 scale. So interesting that that's in there, but I personally don't find too much usage for it, at least no more than that of the lights to be able to switch back on, or even the doors to be able to open to make it look like Batman is coming right out of the vehicle like so. So right now I understand that you are pretty capable of finding the 1/24th scale very easily through either major retailers or more accurately online through Amazon or even Entertainment Earth, and you guys can actually find links for that particular version in the description if you guys want to use those. However, when it comes to the 1/18th scale, it happens to be somewhat of an exclusive to Jada Next Level, which is their much upgraded division for what they consider to be a hardcore collector. So if you want like a bigger scale version of this particular Batmobile as well as various others, you can find them on their website, and I'll go ahead and link that in the description as well. And I would say if you are in fact a huge fan of this particular Batmobile, or if you're a renowned fan after having seen the movie and finally knowing what it's all about, especially when you got to witness that chase scene on the freeway in IMAX like I did, then yeah, I would say this is a very, very good addition, especially if you've been following Jada Toys for some time, and most especially if you feel like that upcoming Hot Toys is probably going to be either too big or rather too damn expensive to be able to add that to your collection. This is a very, very fine alternative. It costs about $60, and for $60 you get a 1/18 scale die-cast version of the Batmobile. The little figurine could be a little bit better, but of course that's an added bonus in my book because the main focus is the Batmobile itself, and with the light up features and the opening doors, as well as, like I said, the die-cast detail and sculpting, it's a hefty little beast, and I would say that adding that to your collection is very well worth it, especially if you're able to just find it for $60 either on Jada Toys' website or through some kind of trade show, because I did find it at a trade show. I didn't really buy it through there because I already had mine coming from Jada Toys, but if you can find it for $60, maximum $70, I'd say pick it up. In the meantime, you can check out this other Batman video showing up on screen right now, and as always, stay humble. I'll see you in the next one.